Straya, how are you going? Hey, down here. Good? You should be. Why is that, Jim? Well, it's Monday, February 2, but that basically means Super Bowl's next week. We're all getting hammered next Monday, just saying. This is NBA Straya. I'm your host, James Clements, here in Larryama Studios. Beautiful day here in the mean streets of Brunswick. We've got our all-star reserves announced. That was kind of fun. So that also means snubs! So many snubs. Oh, who loves sooking about snubs more than me? No one. We're going to talk about that. Paul George has been suspended for D-Rugs, getting on the old rugs. Trade deadline is warming up as well. We've got a couple of trades to talk about, including its impact on a couple of Aussies, one of whom got traded, another one who got waived. We'll do some weekend winners and losers. We got some it's all going on. So we bloody well just get into it. Sound good? Yeah, good. Let's do it. Episode 1345. Use your words, Jim. 1345. It's like this baby squid counting. 1, 4, 7, 2, 68. It's all right. Good job, buddy. Let's do it. Episode 1345 NBA Straya. Let's go!
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
Watch out for the shark attack.
You better watch out for the attack of the passing of time. Everything turns. Yeah. Drop the baby squid off at Kindy today. And you're just like, he's there on the scooter, scooting along. And I'm just like, oh, well, little boys is all grown up. Bit emotional this time of year, I'll tell you. Anyway, let's start with today's daily clip around. There you go. Yeah. I didn't actually do a pics video this morning because I was too busy running around dropping off the eldest squid and then getting the baby skid skid. Yeah. I'll tell you what, he's been toilet trained, but he's not doing a great job of it sometimes. So baby skid also works. The baby squid starts kindy, so he's doing all this orientation and stuff, and you're like, this is just chaotic. And it was kind of nice, though. It's good to see them all growing up and becoming just absolute mad dogs. That's all they are. They're absolute lunatics. It's like, Dad, do you want to play fights? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I do. I'm going to kick your ass too. Come here. Come on, have a bit. You want to have a crack at the title? Come on. You think you're a contender? Holding them both upside down. Got them. But anyway, good times. Amazing stuff. It's very fun. It's I don't know, you're sort of back into the school year, back into kindy. It's all going on, so a little bit of chaoticness. But I think we're now back to our regularly scheduled programming for a little bit. I do say that with the knowledge in my brain that next Monday is a complete write-off because it's the Super Bowl. We're doing our NFL Australia Super Bowl party at the Catfish in Fitzroy in Melbourne. If you're a listener, if you want to come down, hang out and sink 1 million tins, my beloved Patriots are playing. It's going to get, I don't know what's going to happen in that game. All I know is that I will drink 1 million beers and it's going to be great. But because that show is probably not happening next Monday, like the NBA show, we'll probably try to do that on Sunday night, but who knows if that'll happen. Because I got pub cricket that day too. I don't know. It's all going on. But we should be doing this week. So this will be the first show of the week. And then we'll do the little quick video hitters on Tuesday and Thursday with big shows Wednesday and Friday. So those video shows on Tuesday and Thursdays, they go up on YouTube and Spotify video podcast first. And then I think Spotify video turns them into audio. So it still comes across your thing. But anyway, I want to know if people dig it and, enjoy that sort of format. I've enjoyed doing it this year because I like doing sort of daily stuff, but having Tuesday and Thursday just to not have to do 1 million things, it's kind of nice because we've got the Supercoach show still going for NBA on Mondays as well, which is like a very short amount of time where it's actually relevant. So you're trying to get it out, try to get it up. But anyway, here we are. And we've gotten to a point of the season where we're finally back into the normal sort of vibes, and then All-Star break happens in like 2 weeks. So it's all just a bit silly, and then so we won't be doing as many shows at the end of next week. But anyway, she'll be right. Speaking of which, the All-Star reserves were announced, which is kind of fun. Because, you know, here on NBA Straya, we love nothing more than yelling, snubs! Who got snubbed? That's the biggest question about All-Star. It is the funniest shit that we get so fucking worked up about All-Star snubs, and the games are routinely fucking shit and do not matter one iota. So all we do is whinge about the quality of the game and how it fucking sucks, but then we also get to whinge about who hasn't made it to play in the shit game that we also hate. You see how this works? It's a beautiful cycle. Anyway, speaking of which, Josh Giddey, snubbed! All he's doing is 18, 8, and 8. But anyway, look, I'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about some snubs, I think, in weekend winners and losers. But the reserves were announced. And before we dig into that, remember, the NBA, in all its incredible wisdom, has changed the format once again to where if you have to explain this for more than fucking 2 words to a person who's not an absolute NBA sicko, you fucking lost the battle, right? Hey, what's happening in the NBA All-Star game this year? Yeah, there's a world team, but there's 2 other teams and there's a tournament, and you're like, you've already fucking lost me. This is fucked. It's stupid. But remember, you got the international team, you got 2 other teams as well. Teams of 8, but we're still deciding East and West in the voting and making the... It's fucking stupid. It's stupid. Either go full world versus Team USA, or just go fucking East-West, you dickheads. This isn't rocket surgery. I'm the vice president of common fucking sense. If Adam Silver decides to fucking throw a couple of shekels Jim's way, we're laughing. It's actually, that price keeps going up, by the way, because the NBA just keeps fucking turning itself inside out, trying to just please everybody and fucking everything up. But with all that in mind, the East reserves. So in addition to your mans, the Jalen's, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Maxi, Cade, and Giannis were already named as your starters. We now have Donnie Mitchell, another Jalen, and another Jalen. We have 4 Jalens just in the East. Because we've got Jalen Duren, Jalen Johnson, joined by Donnie Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, Pascal Siakam, Norm Powell, and Scotty Barnes. I got a couple of thoughts, but we'll get to those. And in the West, joining Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, SGA, and Steph Curry will be Ant-Man. Nice. Jamal Murray for his first ever nod as an All-Star. Oh, isn't that a good story? Chet Holmgren. Sure. KD. Devin Booker. Wow. And Danny Avdia. Along with an old fella you might know and remember, LeBron James, for his 22nd All-Star appearance. I still don't reckon he plays. I don't think Giannis plays. And that's why this snub thing is always pretty funny, because there's always 1 or 2 dudes who just go, oh, yeah, my calf. I don't really want to go to All-Star. I'd rather go sit on a beach in Cabo. And the snubs, I guess, as we sort of talked about, when you've got Siakam being named from the worst team in the East, essentially, the Indiana Pacers, you got Norm Powell beating out his teammate Bam Adebayo. In the West, like Alpi Şengün is just like, what more can they do? The Kawhi Leonard was very funny. We'll talk about this in Yanaz, but obviously Giddey is a tough one for me. I can't get too bent out of shape about it though. You know, I can post snubbed and it's kind of funny. 18, 8, and 8. Numbers were even better when voting opened. The problem was he got injured at exactly the wrong fucking time. Did our man Josh Giddey. Essentially wiping out the vast majority of time where people are thinking about All-Star voting and he's not out there playing. You're like, well, that's fucking cooked that, hasn't it? And here we are. So, yeah, It's a bit of a rough one, I'll tell you. We'll talk about some more snubs in weekend winners and losers in a second. The news! Paul George on the rugs. Suspended 25 games. Paul George. Barely knew you didn't mind getting onto the old Colombian marching. No. Illegal performance enhancing drugs possibly. No one knows. You never know about this sort of stuff. Mental health is his go-to excuse du jour. I'll pay it. Took something I shouldn't have. I fucked up. So, all right, cool. Over the past few years, this is his statement, I've discussed the importance of mental health, and in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility for my actions and apologise to the Sixers organisation, my teammates and the Philly fans for my poor decision-making during this process. I am focused on using this time to make sure that my mind and body are in the best condition to help the team when I return. Now, this is a very interesting situation, right? Because mental health is wildly a underrated aspect of being anybody. Not just a fucking world famous sports person. It could be you, it could be me. We should always be talking about mental health. That's a good thing. And he's taken an improper medication, right? So what that is, dunno. I don't even want to fucking speculate. Because if he's out there trying to fix his shit, and then it turns out that's against the rules of the NBA, he fucked up, right? That's okay. I think you're allowed to fuck up, once. I've got some other thoughts about like drug suspensions, but still. Essentially, Paul George, 25 games. Can we all just be going like, okay, no worries. Also, are we sure that's a really bad thing? He'd sort of just, he's gotten healthy. He's playing okay. Embiid's shredding. Paul George now gets like a 25-game layoff, comes back in late March. Just saying, it might not be so bad. But anyway, look, good on him for actually coming out and go, yeah, look, done fucked up. It did give some rise to some pretty fun jokes before the mental health thing came out, like playoff PCP. That was particularly brutal, but also pretty fucking good. Because if you give yourself the nickname Playoff P and then continually fucking never show up in the playoffs, I kind of think it's kind of a bit of open season. But that's also, I guess, the thing that leads into him taking an improper medication for his mental health. You see how this is all a bit of a shit cycle. Anyway, so look, more power to him for coming out and being honest about it and copping his suspension and just taking his, ironically, medicine. Yeah. Hey, Nikola Jokic came back. That's good. Came back and instantly went back to doing what he does best, kicking the absolute living shit out of the Clippers. That was good. Was there any other news? I mean, let's do the trades. Trades! Trade deadline is this week. It's Friday. We had a pretty interesting one over the weekend. Cleveland went, hey, who's the dumbest team we can find? There it is, Sacramento. Bang. Let's trade with them. So they sent DeAndre Hunter, packing out west to the Sacramento Kings. They also involved the Chicago Bulls, who the Kings sent Dario Saric to, along with 2 seconds to Chicago. And Dennis Schroeder, I am German Rondo, and Neon Keon Ellis ends up in Cleveland as well. So that's why Travers, our man, the flying doormat, a.k.a. Luke Traverse, I guess, was waived, which just fucking sucks. He'd been crushing it at times in the G League for the Canton Charge, which is the Cavs G League team. Never really kind of got going as the sort of two-way player for the Cavs, but it showed enough where, we'll talk about this again later, I think he gets another crack. It just sort of stinks because the Cavs obviously valued him. They'd always sort of been on the Travers train. So that's a real kick in the dick, I reckon. But I mean, this is like the roster crunch when you've sort of got old blokes like Lonzo Ball. You've got someone like Tyrese Proctor, who's like a second-round pick, but signed to a guaranteed contract, and a couple of dudes like that. Yeah, once you get down to the bottom of that roster, you're like, oh, shit. Sorry, Luke. But we got a couple of seconds for free. Or Chicago got a couple of seconds for free. They got a couple of really handy role players. We'll talk about that in the weekend winners and losers. But I'll talk about the judging this trade in a second. But yes, Sacramento instantly going, yeah, look, we had to make this deal because, I don't know, that Schroeder contract, we just had to get out from under it. You gave Schroeder that deal, you fucking morons. What are you doing, Sacramento? Which is an evergreen question. What the fuck are you doing, Sacramento? They don't know. We'll talk about that again in a second. The other trade that came across today, Atlanta-Portland. They trade Vic Krejci to Portland and in return get a couple of seconds. And our man, do-up, do-up, the Great Barrier Reef. You might think, geez, Jim, that's awesome. We get the Great Barrier Reef pairing up with the Great Barrier Thief, Dyson Daniels, on the Atlanta Hawks. You would be wrong because do-up, literally on the weekend, the news came out that he had undergone foot surgery for a stress reaction and is out for the rest of the season. Boo. So that sucks. So we miss out on the Great Barrier Reef Thief combo. Do-up's now a restricted free agent next year, so he could obviously get waived if Atlanta are doing anything in the interim. Very sneakily good pickup by Portland to get Vic Krejci. Just like, they've just got a bunch of dudes. Like, Portland have just got some dudes. And Krejci is a bit of a dude. I'm not entirely convinced what the fuck Atlanta are doing, but here we are, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, in terms of like other stuff, we'll do some weekend winners and losers, and we won't go through some of the games, but we had a great Lakers-Knicks game today, which was really, really fun. Sunday night basketball. Basically, NBC going, we're now the fucking broadcaster for the NBA. We're going to we've got Sunday night football. That's our big fucking thing. And now we're going to do that with basketball. It felt big. It felt awesome. And the problem with the NBA is, like, you got to clear the zone. What are you doing? You've got Lakers, Knicks, your two biggest fucking markets, your two biggest fucking teams, and you've also got like another 8 games going on. Clear the fucking, get them playing during the afternoon, you fucking idiots. How are you fucking this? NBA? There's another evergreen idea. How is the schedule maker not working with NBC going, look, NBC, like, all right, from fucking 8:30 Eastern time on this Sunday night, we are debuting properly our big fuck you awesome Sunday night basketball. It's going to be huge. We're going to make it a big thing. And the NBA's like, okay, but we've also got to put 7 other games on at the same time. You'd be like, what the fuck you want? It's a Sunday, you dipshits. People aren't mostly going to work. Right? Fucking same as football. Start them at 1 p.m. This isn't rocket surgery. Just fucking sort your shit out, you dummies. Fuck. Whew. Anyway. Getting a bit worked up there, Jim. Yes. I mean, yeah, it sucks for us over here because that'd be like a fucking 5 a.m. start, but who gives a shit? Fucking, you're trying to make your product as big as football. Just fucking do the same thing. Fuck me. Anyway, let's do some weekend winners and losers.
Oh my God. I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is me.
Ken Brockman. Now get in front of me. There you go. Yep. Winners, Cleveland. That's right. We just talked about him. It is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland!
But Jim, they lose DeAndre Hunter. Yes. Neon Keon Ellis is good. Jalen Tyson has been awesome. We knew that DeAndre Hunter was now sort of like superfluous to a degree. Like there's enough sort of like veteran know-how and talent with Hunter, but it seems just like as soon as he got there, the vibes were fucked. Right? And you can kind of just go look at Cleveland the last 12 months since they made the Hunter trade, where ideally he's sort of everything they need. A bigger 3-and-D kind of dude, can do a little bit on offense that you need him to do. But now you get a 2-for-1. You turn him into shooter and you turn him into Ellis. Suddenly you've got a bit of extra punch off the bench in terms of scoring and ball handling, especially when Darius Garland is never fucking healthy. And the interesting one for me is that this is a dice roll for a vibes guy. Because all reports are, as soon as our friend of the show, George Niang, was traded, the locker room just went a bit fucking sideways. right? And Schroeder's an interesting one because it goes either one or two ways, right? You roll the dice, he's either fucking electric, fits perfectly, or it all goes to shit. So I kind of like it. You roll the dice every time you, like, Schroeder's now been, this is his 11th team, which is amazing. And every time you get him, it's a roll of the dice of like, full vibes guy or ruins the vibes guy. And that's kind of fun. Cleveland just rolled the fucking dice and went, geez, I hope this works out. He could be great. He could also be fucking seen choking out Donovan Mitchell in 2 weeks. So who knows, right? But at least Neon Keon Ellis, he gets a fucking coach who might use him and doesn't have his head stuck up his ass like Doug Christie. And I think the Schroeder thing is pretty fun because he's trying to go the full Jeff Green, El Jefe Green, Ish Smith, Garrett Temple, those dudes. This is his 11th team. It is crazy to think about how many teams he's been on. And then you go, wait a minute, Jeff Green's been on 11. Garrett Temple's been on 12. Ish Smith has been on 13 fucking teams. I love that. But anyway, look, it just means Cleveland don't have to rely on like every second game Lonzo playing. And Lonzo, we've talked about this time and time again. Bless his cotton socks for coming back from those disastrous injuries, but wow, can that guy not fucking score? This is a bit of extra offensive firepower. You get Ellis in there, can do it a little bit on both ways as well. And I think you sort of look at the array of guys you're going to be going against if you're Cleveland. Yes, your wings have always been a problem, but if you've got this fucking almost numbers approach of Jalen Tyson, Keon Ellis, just fucking throw them at everybody. You've still got a bit of shooting here and there with Sam Merrill and co. Maybe you can scrape by. It does feel like it's sort of kicking the can down the road a little bit to a Darius Garland trade or something bigger, right? Maybe this is just them going, let's see what fucking happens this year. But it kind of feels like they've got bigger issues. Maybe it's all vibes and maybe Schroeder fixes it. I'm just not entirely convinced. But still, I like the trade for Cleveland. I like the Hunter trade for Cleveland last year. It just fucking never quite clicked, and the vibes have just been janky in Cleveland almost ever since. So I don't know. Still, I think they come out winners. Other winners, this is a combination, Dallas and Charlotte. Jim, but Dallas have lost a fuck ton of games in a row and Charlotte have won heaps in a row. Yes, Charlotte have won 6 straight. They're fucking awesome. I love them. I think Dallas have now lost 4 on the trot. That's fine. They own their pick. Tank away, boys. Like, tank away. Tank away. They're 19 and 30 now, Dallas. Jesus. But the game that we had, we were talking about it during the show on Friday. You had Cooper Flag go off for 40-9. You had, what, Connie Nips absolutely crushing it as well. What did he have, like 34? They went absolutely hammer and tongs against each other. And you sort of like, it was 123-121 in the end. Charlotte win the game. Connie Nips has 34, shoots the piss out of it. 8 of 12 from downtown. So he has 34, 4 and 3. Coop de loop doop doop has 49 points, 10 rebounds and 3 assists. Why are they grouped together, Jim? Well, it's because they've got dudes. They're massive weekend winners because then Charlotte came out and just kept beating fucking teams because that's now what Charlotte does. They're 22 and 28. They've won 6 straight. They beat the fucking Spurs yesterday, right? And I think in that six game straight, they've now won, but in like the last 4 weeks, they've beaten like the Lakers, OKC, and now San Antonio. Charlotte, I fucking banged this drum for so long. When their dudes are healthy, they are terrifyingly fun, and they're going to win some games. I don't know about those fucking orange uniforms, but still. And Dallas have lost a bunch in the row, but Coop has 34 and 12 as well in that loss to Houston yesterday. But just knowing you've got the dude, right? And this is about when the rookie wall tends to sort of hit guys. And if you've got a dude and he's awesome and he's proven he's awesome, you have this moment as a fan and as a team where you just go, oh, that's lucky. We nailed that. Fucking awesome. And when they prove it to you time and time again, like Coop and like Connie Nips have done, you fucking love that. Absolutely love that. Great job, Dallas and Charlotte. Despite your win-loss records and shit like that, doesn't matter. If you've got the dudes, you're a weekend winner from this weekend. Philly are weekend winners. But Jim, they lost Paul George for 25 games. Yes. That's why they're winners. Because Paul George gets suspended. That's $11.7 million of his contract, right? They get half of that as a luxury tax credit. They can just chop off their luxury tax bill. It brings them from like over $7 million above the luxury tax down to about $1.3 million above it, which they can easily duck under now. And if you're Philly and you're like, well, we can either fucking swing for the fences or we can just like ride Maxey and VJ and Embiid and sort of see what happens, but we'll also save that little bit of cash this year and also avoid any and all like repeater fucking problems down the road. It's a massive win. So yes, you're going to be without Paul George for 25 games. That probably would have happened at some point anyway, because he's Paul George and made of glass and probably would have tweaked a fucking hammy or something or some point. But on top of this, Embiid is back being fucking awesome. He had 40 and 11 on the weekend. He keeps rolling. He keeps getting healthier. This is building towards something where, oh my God, as I said at the top of the show, maybe it's not a bad idea to have him sit out for 25 games because he'd come back in the end of March. Suddenly, if he's all healthy and feeling fucking great, if Embiid is still healthy by then and you just manage that situation, who knows what the fuck could happen with Philly right now, right? It's awesome. So just keep it rolling. Keep the good vibes happening. Keep Embiid healthy. That's all you need to do. I don't mind it. Big weekend for Philly. They also, keep winning games, which is kind of handy. They've won 3 on the trot, 27-21 in the 6th spot in the East right now. Beat the Pelicans, beat the Kangs, beat the Bucks. You should beat all those teams, but still. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City. Woo! 6 straight wins. Beat the Lakers today. Belted, absolutely fucking creamed the Blazers the other day. But 6 straight wins after just the absolute fucking sky was falling. They're back to 31-18. They're back in the 2nd seed in the East. It's fine. The cool thing is, you know what it does? It's a pressure release valve. For all the dudes in these fucking trade sort of chatters, all the trade rumors, if you win games while that's going on, guess what? You're probably not going to get traded. Unless Giannis goes, I only want to be a New York Knick. They'll probably wait until the offseason. They'll probably get the best deal then. The Knicks can't really offer a great deal, I reckon, right now, unless you really fucking like Karl Anthony Towns, and I don't think there's too many folks who do. The Knicks, this is a big weekend for them because they sort of just got their shit sorted and rolling again. And now they have the equal longest win streak in the NBA, tied with the Charlotte Hornets, who were just another weekend winner. Minnesota, Minnesota are weekend winners purely because they won that game against OKC the other day when we were taping. But that's another team. They're back up into 5th in the West at 31-19, right? And they beat the Thunder 123-111. Huge win. They've bracketed that with like a win over the Mavs and the Grizz. And they play the Grizz again. And this is another team heading into the trade deadline. If they just rack up some wins, they'll feel better about themselves. They might not make a trade. Do they still need to make a trade? Probably. But if you're suddenly trading from like a position of strength rather than a position of desperation, you're probably going to get a better deal. You're not forced to make a deal. And you kind of can feel confident in what you're doing. If you don't pull it off, she might be right. So good weekend for Minnesota is what I'm trying to say. Getting right, feeling good, 4 straight wins. Getting back in there, right, with a bit of a puncher's chance. Don't mind it. That's 5 weekend winners and losers. I mean, 6 if you want to combine that. Well, I had Dallas and Charlotte combined. But the other one, honorable mention, Jamal Mashburn. Jim, you mean beloved former Charlotte Hornet Bobcat Jamal Mashburn and Dallas Maverick? Yes. Because when you say some insane shit on the internet, people go, fuck, I didn't realize he was on TV. Jamal Mashburn came out and saying, man, Cooper Flagg would be the 6th best freshman in college this year. Ah, yes, Jamal Mashburn, the guy dropping 49 against grown-ass men aged 19 in the N-fucking-BA would really struggle on a cold Tuesday night against Purdue. Yeah, I don't know if he'd manage the 49 against fucking, look out. Can he do it against Purdue, though? A bunch of fucking teenagers. Yeah, I don't know. Get fucked. But it is a great way for Jamal Mashburn to remind everybody that he's on TV. How about weekend losers?
We're not losers. No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up. Loser.
Losers. That's right, Sacramento. But Jim, they got DeAndre Hunter. Yes. They also burned a pretty decent trade asset in Keon Ellis to go get him. And moved on from Dennis Schroeder, the bloke that they gave a deal to that they then realized, geez, we need to get out of this deal. It's like, you signed him to the deal, you fucking morons. Anyway, so to sign Schroeder to the deal that you're like, wow, I need to trade this guy to get away from that deal. It's just amazingly classic Sacramento stuff because after trading my name is Jonas Valanciunas to go get Dario Saric so they could sign Schroeder and then trade Schroeder having overpaid him, they sign Russell Westbrook, which fucks Schroeder up. They bring in more money now in a trade to get Hunter and throw in a decent asset in Keon Ellis and suddenly now have less cap space out of all of this. Sacramento might be the worst run team in the NBA like ever. Right? Just across the board. Sheer bloody-minded dumb fuck ineptitude. Like, it's a tradition of heritage that goes back fucking 40 years. Like, it's incredible. And, yeah. It's amazing from these brain geniuses in Sacramento because they're now on the bottom of the West with 8 straight losses. They came into this season like not tanking. There were other teams. They've now lost 9 straight, actually. Other teams like the Wiz, Brooklyn, like you think about maybe Utah, who knows who else, right? Sacramento are just fucking horrible. And it's like they're the dudes that they wanted on the team. They're 12-39. It's... Woo! Sacramento, big time losers. Milwaukee! Yeah, I hit on this in the power rankings on Friday. It is no longer Algonquin for the good land. It is, I know that it was never apparently Algonquin for the good land. It's just a fun line from Wayne's World, but still. They are now 18-29. They've lost 5 on the trot, and they got absolutely fucking shit pumped by Boston today. 107-79. And you can sort of look at what the Bucks have been doing, and you look at that team, and if you just want to go, oh, yeah, maybe Giannis is right. Right? Because if I was in his shoes, and I'm not, no, I too would be like, yeah, I want to get out of here. What are we doing? This is this is shit. It was good winning a title, but look what you've fucking done to me here. So their team today against Boston, they're starting Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner, Ryan Rollins, and AJ Green. And at some point you go, wow, it's not too... They fucking got they didn't score more than 20 points in the last 3 quarters of that game. It's absolutely abysmal. Gary Trent Jr. Gary Terrence Darby Jr. being this bad blows my mind. Ice Cole Anthony doesn't surprise me. Just, what a shit show. Poor Bucks fans. Portland! But Jim, I thought you liked the Vic Krejci trade. I did. The problem is they just can't get healthy still. They're they're getting fucking killed at home right now by Cleveland too. So that'll be 5 straight on they've lost. They just gave up 41 in the third quarter to Cleveland. And the Blazers are down 20 heading into the fourth quarter. So if they pull this off, remarkable, and just completely disregard this. But their big problem is obviously just not getting healthy ever. And so you got Jeremiah Grant at the moment, Tamani Kamara, Donovan Clingan, sure. Shaden Sharp, he's got 18 points on 18 shots today, classic. But Denny's back injury is a bit fucky. Jrue Holiday, he's sort of in and out at the moment as well. It's just getting a bit fucking squirrely for the poor Blazers, who had been on such a fucking awesome tear. And now 5 straight losses are going to be really, really hard for them. Aussies are big weekend losers because obviously you've got Duop being traded out for the season. That came across the news desk on Saturday. Travers being waived. That fucking sucks. Tyrese Proctor now ducking down the depth chart in Cleveland as Dennis Schroeder, I am German Rondo comes in. And of course, Josh Giddey joining the last weekend losers, all-star snubs. But yeah, the Aussies, I was going to do a catch up and like get everything back into the regular programming and do like the Aussie player watch, but fucking bit light on the ground. So we're now going to just kick that back in daily as of tomorrow because she's a bit bloody rough. Josh Giddey's been out all week as well, like coming back from the hamstring and stuff. But the All-Star snubs are obviously the last one here of the weekend losers. Michael Porter Jr., Josh Giddey, Paolo Banchero, maybe not so much. Bam, maybe not so much. Josh Giddey, though, to be honest, as I said earlier, just got injured at the exact wrong time. I still would have had him above Siakam and probably Norm Powell. For the simple fact of like fucking for a vast before he got hurt, basically was averaging a 20-9-9, a 20-10-10, crushing it, and then pings a fucking hammy, and you're like, horrible timing. But I think it's just been all round better, like than those dudes for a better team. Those numbers are fucking undeniable. Like, what are we doing? Yes, Powell's been fantastic for Miami, but to talk about you want ancillary stats, Gids crushes him. Siakam, it's like, yeah, he's just sort of cruising along doing his thing, but at the same time, that Indiana team is like the worst team in the NBA, basically. 13-36, sitting on the bottom of the East. Only team worse than them, basically, at the moment, are the Pelicans, the Kings. So, yeah, tough one for Gids. Would have liked to have seen him get an all-star nod. I still think Michael Porter Jr. probably gets the nod if Giannis is, obviously Giannis is probably not going to play. The one thing for Giddey, however, is how it's going to roll out when they announce this international versus USA sort of approach they're taking with the all-star teams this year. Because as it sort of like lands, I think Norm and Kat can also be tagged as like international because of who they've represented for FIBA at times. Obviously, Jamal Murray, Canadian. Denny, you might be getting to 8 when it comes to the overseas guys because you do have, but Giannis goes out, right? So you've got Luka, you've got Jokic, you've got Wemby, SGA. Cool. Giannis was that 5th one from those starters. There was an international. Then you get to, if you're going to count Kat, maybe Norm. You've got 7. You get Jamal Murray as your 8. You got Denny as 9. And it sort of depends on whether or not they count Kat, if they count Norm. Because if Giannis drops out, and he probably likely will, he's not playing, maybe Gid still gets a call up for the international side of things, but I don't know. I don't know how they're going to fucking announce all this. We're going to find out this week. But yeah, again, what a mess. Michael Porter Jr. probably gets in, is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, in the West, if you're looking at the snubs there, Kawhi. I'll talk about this in Nars in a second, but yeah, that can be a little bit understandable. Sengun over Booker, I probably would have taken that. I don't know if Booker has been fucking lights out all-star shit all season. It's weird. My favorite snub, however, is obviously Dylan Brooks. Because, oh my God, the consequence of my actions. I love it. Oh, watch me be a fuckhead for all my career and be a massive dick to everybody. Oh, what do you mean I'm not an all-star? Sucked in, Dylan Brooks. I love it. I do feel like this was like an orchestrated LeBron sort of clutch thing in the background. This is a bit of Outback Takehouse where they were like leaking to the media, hey, you know who might be an all-star? Dylan Brooks. Just to build up his confidence and then knowing that he wasn't going to be voted. And they're like, put the word out amongst the coaches of like, don't put Dylan Brooks in or, yeah, you're not going to have any clutch players ever. So I think they built up Dylan Brooks' hopes and then dashed them quite expertly. Absolutely villainous shit. Also kind of, understandable and couldn't happen to a better bloke. I don't know. Do you feel like Kawhi deserved to be in there? It's sort of so up and down. He's been playing fucking awesome. He's got better numbers really than LeBron. I mean, Kawhi over Booker probably is my pick. Sengun is right there too, but yeah, here we are. All right, let's take a quick break. Come back with some Nars right after this.
This is Cam Glidden.
This is Anthony Drimmick.
This is Mitch McCarron.
This is Jason Kadee.
This is Daryl McDonald.
Hey guys, this is Hugh Greenwood.
Yo, what's going on? This is Illy.
This is Mark Worthington, or commonly known as Wortho, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
You listen to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA
And you're listening
Australia.
to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
You're listening to NBA Straya.
All right, we've got some yeah nahas brought to you by you. That's right. You can help support the show and buy me a coffee. So you can buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. If you go there, you can just shout your mate Jim a tin or a coffee once a month, and you join the Dead Set Legends Club, which gives you access to like exclusive stuff that I post on the Dead Set Legends Club, basically podcast and video pages that you get, and also like just other stuff that I just put up there. We're going to be doing heaps more of it now for the back half of the season. So join up now. Buymeacoffee.com/NBA Australia. It costs fuck all. You get some cool extra exclusive shit, but also just keeps the fucking lights on here, right? So any help would be appreciated. If you want to sponsor the show as well, if you've got a business, if a mate's got a business, if you think someone could fit, hey, hit us up in the DMs. Help your mate Jim keep this fucking thing going. All right, got some good yeah nahs. Speaking with the Dead Set Legends Club, IMB had a crack at me we did the big one about bands as NBA teams or NBA teams as bands. I made some brutal cracks about Perth, which is, I don't know, entirely warranted for the most part. And I explained to him, I'm like, yeah, I fucked that one up, because as soon as I was going through it and like editing it a little bit, when I came to the Perth jokes, I'm like, oh, fuck, wait a minute. I forgot about Jebediah. And like, then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, fuck, what about these guys? What about Tired Lion? Fucking Jesus. And he pointed out, what about Jimmy Ricard, Jim? And I'm like, yes. Fuck, that'd be a great song for your footy teams, wouldn't it? Everyone, like, this could be their Never Tear Us Apart for Port Adelaide Power. Get out there and just start singing Jimmy Ricard. Come on, Eagles fans, Dockers fans, Wildcats fans. Simple as that. You got to fucking take... Anyway. So if you want to listen to that exclusive show, you got to sign up to the membership stuff, and then I'll send it to you. But it's a really fucking good one. Just saying. Anyway, IMB, I did fuck up. I did give Perth a bit of a short shrift there. That's on me. Full disclosure, fucked it. And I knew too. I was just like, I could almost re-record this. Because it was like a bit of a throwaway thing. I was like, I can't be fucked. But Perth has a lot of long storied history of very good bands. Obviously, fucking Bon Scott. You've got like Kim Salmon and the Surrealists and all those dudes. The Stems, as I said, Tired Lion, San Cisco, you know, Draft, etc. Anyway, not just Eskimo Joe and Tame Impala. Anyway, IMB did ask, do you think Luke Travers finds a team? Yeah, nah. Yes, I do think he does. I think there's a Luke Travers spot where an existing two-way spot might still open up as well. I think he did enough in the G League to show that he's got a little bit of something. And I've got a feeling that he'll latch on somewhere. But if he doesn't get a two-way straight away, as the trade deadline sort of, you know, maybe shuffles everything around and spots open up or close up, whatever. If that doesn't happen, I feel like he still gets back into the 10-day sort of exhibition-y contracts that they do. So the 10-day contracts, you can then do 2 of those, and then you have to convert them to a two-way. Basically, you sort of get towards like into March, you do the 10 days, maybe you glom on for a little bit of a spot. But I think Travers is good enough, and he did enough in the G League to sort of showcase how good he is. I think he deserves a spot. Whether or not he does is going to be the big question. So I think he ought to. I think the timing of this is fucked for Travers, though. Because two ways are really fucking hard to sort of navigate, and sort of for people to have them at this point, when your depth has already been tested, when the trade deadline's happening right now, fingers crossed he does land somewhere, just saying. But I think he ought to. So I think, yeah, he does. I'm just a little bit leery of it. Here we go. What else? Tim May, the other spin twin. Love it. Yeah, nah. LeBron signs with Golden State in the offseason and does his farewell tour with Steph and Draymond. Woo, boy. Yeah, nah. I think I've sort of come around to this idea now of LeBron going back to, where's he going to go next year, Jim, do you reckon?
Cleveland!
I reckon that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to say nah to him going to Golden State because I think it's a bit weird him glomming on and going to Steph's team. You know what I'm saying? If Cleveland don't win the title this season, and I don't think that they will, I think the storybook farewell is him just going, I'm going back to where it all started. I'm going to finish my career. This will be my last season to be in the Cleveland Cavaliers uniform that I made famous. And he does his farewell tour that way. Basically, to make it as much about him as he possibly can. You know what I'm saying? That sounds like LeBron, doesn't it? Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. Sorry, Tim. I don't reckon he goes to Golden State. I reckon he goes to Cleveland. Jez Oz. He sent these through on Friday. I fucking totally missed them, which is bad. He's like, Jimmy boy, hope you're well on this beautiful Friday. Friday was fucking glorious. We're at the pub later on. Fucking great. Anyway, number one. Got some yeah-nahs for you. Given that Mike Brown is basically a one-and-done coach, and they're already showing signs of being close to done, the Knicks should move heaven, earth, and Karl Anthony Towns to get Giannis. Yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. Oh, I still don't know if they ought to. I am very concerned about the Mike Brown aspect of the Knicks, but as I said earlier in the winners and losers, they're kind of righted the ship just enough where you might keep him. I don't know. I still do. If Giannis wasn't quite as old, maybe. But the cat thing is just the two polar bits of your fucking defense in Jalen Brunson and Cat being so porous. Maybe you ought to. It really comes down to the simple idea. Do you think the Knicks can get it all together this season under Mike Brown and have a crack and win the title? I think you move heaven and earth to get Giannis this offseason, if you're the Knicks, right? Because that probably means that it's all petered out again. You don't know what's fucking going on. You're like, fuck it, Cat, we've tried this. It hasn't worked. Piss off. We're getting Giannis. And then doing all you can. So I kind of agree with that. I don't think it's right now, though. I think you roll with this crew right now. If it all fails again, Giannis time. Number two, should the Warriors have pushed harder in the preseason to acquire Josh Giddey? Yeah, nah. Ooh. The problem was the coin was always going to be fucked, and they were kind of tied up with the Kuminga stuff sort of hanging over their head. So, yeah, probably nah, but they probably should have. You know what I mean? I don't know if they could have. That's the problem. He also then goes on, and given that they could get him on reasonable coin for the next few years, should they try and get him now? Because let's be honest, if any team would be dumb enough to trade him in a package deal for Jimmy Butler, it's the Chicago Bulls, right? Yeah, nah. Yeah, it probably is the Bulls going, oh, yeah, can we have a couple of picks and we'll take that Butler contract off your hands and Kuminga and we'll keep Kobe White instead of Josh Giddey. That's the most bullshit ever. So, yeah, do that. That'd be fucking good. Gids on Golden State. Let's ride again. They should have drafted him in the first place, just saying. But anyway, love that. I don't think they would have been able to get him in the offseason because, I mean, both he and Kuminga were in restricted free agency hell. Always going to be tricky. And in terms of, like, you know, trade machinations when it comes down to, like, the way that, you know, being able to sign people who got, well, trade people who got signed later in the offseason made things very, very tricky, obviously. And if you think about, like, the Bulls and Kuminga, and the Warriors, obviously, and, like, the way that that sort of all links in, it would have been difficult for anything to sort of happen in the offseason. So now it just, I don't know. Kid's on $25 million a year. I think he's just better for the Bulls than maybe even for the Warriors. So if they could get him for butts and maybe a couple of other things, who fucking knows? But yeah. Anyway, that's a good one, Jess. Kid's on the Warriors. Can we make that happen? Him next to Steph. I kind of like it. The more I think about it, the more I'm loving it. Yeah. Gids to the Warriors. Let's do it. Unpopular opinion of the day quickly.
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
So the Paul George stuff, there's some mental health, improper medication. as soon as I read this, I'm like, oh, it's probably part of his rehab for his injuries. And he's like, taking performance-enhancing drugs, some sort of PED. And it just basically, in my brain, I'm like, fucking who cares? But if he's been busted for something else that's still, wrong, then he should be suspended, and he is. My entire thing is always going to be, I think it's fine to use performance-enhancing drugs to rehab injuries and come back. I think, not as a doctor, because I'm not a medical doctor, not anymore, but PEDs in rehab to get you back into your fucking thing, I've got no problem with that. I'm just saying. As long as you're stopping it before you're competing, fucking laughing. Nice. Anyway, I already gave you my Outback Takehouse as well about Dylan Brooks being snubbed specifically as a LeBron scheme, which I love. And the other one is obviously still, we keep talking about this All-Star weekend. The best coaches have been, snagged their tickets to All-Star break as the coaches. I still reckon this is more of a punishment than a fucking reward. And I'd much rather see Doug Christie and fucking Brian Keefe as the coaches so they could finally coach good players. That'd be pretty fun. But anyway, quick one. If we look at tomorrow's games, because we'll do a bunch of the catch-ups on the Aussies throughout the rest of the week from here. Gid's not playing over the weekend, sort of rehabbing that hammy. Obviously, Duop out for the season. It's just a bit fucky, so we'll get to that later. And the Andrew Gaze Great Mumber Award, we could have just given that to Cooper Flagg, but that was back on Friday. So a couple of games for tomorrow. We've only got 4 games, so let's quickly have a look at them in the game previews. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Good. Had a big weekend. It was very fun. Hanging out with mates. Causing some havoc. It was good. Remember, you can find all of our picks over at Dabble. Just use the link in our show description or our social bios, and you'll go find them. We are doing pretty well. I don't know how the picks went today in the end, actually. I've just got to check my phone. But anyway, that's all you can do. Social bios or the show description. It's right there. You can find all the picks. Usually every day. I think I missed Sunday. But anyway. Tomorrow, we're going to make up... What is it? Is this a make-up New Orleans-Charlotte game? 7 a.m. It's a bit of a rough one. In Charlotte, and they are favourites by 7.5. It's actually a surprisingly interesting game. The Pelicans shit house. We get that. But have most of their dudes. The Hornets absolutely going off their heads right now. And at home, Charlotte are a bit of a fucking wagon. 7.5 is a bit. I think the Pelicans, who have, of late, they lose to the Sixers by 10. They beat the Grizzlies, lose to the Thunder by 9. Beat the Spurs last week. I still don't know if they're going to be good enough defensively to keep up with Charlotte. So maybe let's go the Hornets minus 7.5. Houston, Indiana. Amazingly, the Rockets are only 5.5 point favorites in Indy. That is a very odd one, isn't it? Pacers showing a little bit of shit of late, which is kind of nice. Rockets, a little bit janky here and there, but they will keep on keeping on. They beat the Mavs and the Hawks on the weekend, so, they're sort of right of the ship. Pacers, wins over the Hawks and the Bulls. I still think the Rockets will be a little bit too good, so I'll take the Rockets minus 5.5. Minnesota at Memphis. We just saw this the other day, and it's a 7.5 point line in Memphis. They lost by 17 last time out. I think we might still have to go with Minnesota. They're just too good. They're on a bit of a roll. Then we've got Philly at the Clippers. Woo-wee. That's a fun one. Philly, 2.5 point underdogs in LA. I might take Philly. Who on that Clippers team is going to slow down Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe? Yes, they don't have Paul George. They've still got Embiid, though. I actually don't mind the Sixers, so I'll take the Sixers plus 2.5. That'll be pretty fun. Good stuff. Anyway, so I think that might do us. Anyway, go find all the picks over at Dabble. Of course, that's what you do. We are cruising along with some of those picks. So, but that'll do us for today. Nice. We will be back for a quick show over on YouTube and video, Spotify stuff tomorrow. So, in the meantime, make sure you're following NBA Straya on Twitter, Facebook, IG, TikTok, and YouTube. Get in the comments. Send us through some yeah-nahs. We'll catch up on all the Aussies throughout this week for you, though. Get you right back up to speed. And yeah, as I mentioned, back to sort of normal programming then the end of next week for All-Star break. It's going to go a bit sideways, but you get that on the big jobs. Get around NFL Straya with myself and Gaz. We've got the Super Bowl preview show coming up this week. We also have our Super Bowl party. Yes, that's right. At the Catfish in Fitzroy here in Melbourne. I think doors are at 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. Go check it out. But either way, it's going to be an awesome day. We host like the pre-event stuff, hang out, drink beers, watch the football. It's awesome. Drink a million beers. Come hang out with us. And get around Jim Does Supercoach. We'll be doing the NBA Supercoach show later today. As soon as everything is gone through and figured out, we jump straight on and bang that out. So get around Jim Does Supercoach wherever you get your podcast. Watch that on YouTube as well at NBA Straya. Speaking of which, rate, review, star, subscribe across every podcast app that you've got. Whichever one you use, rate, star, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. Help a brother out, would you? Let's keep doing that. Speaking of which, you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. Get around to Pix over at Dabble. And big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. They rule. So to House Hats, Joshua Dale Renters, Fascinated, Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, iOS, Sex Jedi, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. It's good stuff. Smash them all on your music streaming platform of choice. That's it. I won't chuck anything on the end of this one because I've got to get out of here and go pick up the squid. So we will catch you tomorrow, you dickheads, over on YouTube and Spotify video, and then that'll come through your ear holes a little bit later. But it's NBA Australia saying, look after yourselves, would you? And, look after your mentals. Look after your chickens. Later, Hosen.